This episode of Reppin' the State Line podcast with John, George, and Josh is sponsored by The Mortgage Dad. Working with George's team gives you access to an unmatched menu of mortgage programs and over 100 years of combined mortgage experience. Skip the stress, love your mortgage experience, and get home with George. Visit www.homewithgeorge.com. NMLS ID 443967.
All right, and we're back, week 17, repping the state line, Sittin and Sippin, the burger and beer edition.
Yes, sir.
And I'm here in, where are we, Josh?
We are at my in-laws' house here in Rockford. I have the pleasure of living right next door to them, which actually it works out pretty well. I have a built-in drinking buddy, always have someone there if I need it. It's fun. So
I had the same situation with my parents living next door and built-in babysitting.
yeah, we have
Next
that
door.
too. So
It's
it's nice.
great.
But the cool thing though is I don't know if you guys can kind of tell around us, my in-laws do have an in-ground pool.
Yeah, I'm
and
blocking the pool. You can see it here
it's
behind me. If
It's
you're
right
watching
here.
the video.
So it's pretty sweet. So over the summer we have full access to pool at all times.
Well, this is a little oasis right here in the middle of Rockford. I mean, I feel like I'm at a park. You got the little water feature going in the background. It's just beautiful, and you can't see it from where we're sitting, but there's like outdoor living spaces all over this backyard. And then Josh's house next door is the same way. I'm a little jealous though, because like my mom and dad are 900 miles east in New York City still, and
Can you imagine this in New York City?
oh, but this would be a $2 million compound in New York City. This would be the $6 million house out in the Hamptons. That's what this would be. But
Take a whack at that.
oh,
But
yeah, we're eating fresh tomatoes from Josh's garden, and today is National Burger Day that we're recording this. So what better way to do a sitting and sipping than with homemade burgers? Where do we get the burgers
So
from?
I got the meat from Pinnons here in Rockford, and they always run a special. I think it's like $3.99 a pound if you buy 5 pounds. So I bought 5 pounds. It was $20.
That's not bad at all.
Not at all.
Not with the way meat prices have been.
Correct.
Like that
And-
is a really good deal on burgers.
Yeah, that's very.
And then
good.
what seasoning did you use? Yeah, like
I-
tell us all about. I'm interviewing you today because
Yeah.
Josh cooked on his brand new grill.
Yeah, so I got the KC Combo Pit Boss. So it's half pellet smoker, half grill flat iron. So we got the meat from Pinnons. I use Jack Stack seasoning.
yes, Jack Stack.
That's
All right.
all the way from Kansas City.
And if you guys were listening a few weeks ago, Josh made a trip to Kansas City, talked all about Jack Stack barbecue and Jack Stack
My
burgers.
favorite
and-
place.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I use Jack Stack seasoning. The buns, I think by far, burger bun for bun at Pinnons is the best.
Okay,
So these are Pinnons buns that they package themselves.
okay.
So
So do they bake them there then,
I'm
or
not,
they
I,
bring them in from a
Is it time
bakery?
to-
I'm
can we
not
dig in?
sure where they get it from.
We might need some napkins. I'm looking at the
Yep.
juices coming off of
Hold
these
on,
things.
I
and
will
we,
go grab some real.
we were a
quick.
little
I'm digging in.
premature. And what we're doing as well today is we're also sampling some local brewery beer. So we have 3 breweries we picked up some 4-packs from. One of them is More Brewing Company, which is local-ish. All right, it's in Huntley, right off of I-90. I've eaten there a few times. They have amazing beers. They have amazing
You gotta be
cocktails,
kidding me.
and their food is really good. George has already dove in. He's taken a bite.
That is phenomenal burger.
He's jumped ahead, but there's nothing worse in a podcast when you can't see what we're doing to have dead time. So we're gonna take bites one at a time. So somebody's constantly talking at least.
You like that?
That is a phenomenal.
So the cool thing
burger.
about the Pit Boss pellet side is I set it for 375, let it give to temperature, threw the burgers on, didn't do anything, didn't touch them. I put the probe in it. When it hit 160, I took it off the grill. That's it. I didn't do a single thing. I didn't touch them. I didn't flip them. I didn't
My
do
God.
anything.
That is a tasty burger, and you're a traditional burger guy. You just take the meat, you make a patty, you throw it
That's
on,
all it
little
is.
salt, little pepper, done.
And as
So-
John was saying, we are sampling 3 local breweries beers today. So this first one, let's talk about this one. This is what the More.
This is from More Brewing Company in Huntley. Like I said, they're local-ish, and this is their Morever. That's their most famous one. It's a double dry hopped Indian Pale Ale. So it is an IPA.
Cheers. Cheers, gents.
Citra.
Cheers to everybody at home.
I have no idea how to pronounce half of this stuff. I'm more of a whiskey guy. Everybody knows that.
The smell off the bat, as you smell the IPA, but the flavor, you can smell flavors in it.
Citrus. Well, we got the bottom here on the can. It says Citra, Motuka, and Simcoe. I have no idea, but I'm tasting those citrus notes. It's kind of like it's almost like a summer shandy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an IPA summer shandy. I don't like IPAs.
It's not heavy. It's very light
Yeah.
for a double IPA.
Right.
Right.
Double dry hopped IPA.
Right.
I thought I'd be choking on this.
You thought it'd be more like
Hoppy.
bitter, more hoppy, more. Wow, that is full of flavors.
This burger is full of flavor.
It pairs well with the burger.
Glad you guys like the burger.
I think we're in heaven right here, my friend.
Well, I'm telling you right now, little mustard, a little ketchup, some
Pickles.
homemade tomatoes, and some classic pickles on there. And it's the perfect burger for me.
Oh God.
Don't need anything else. You know, could use an onion, could leave an onion off of it. It's just a perfect combination. With the tomato and the pickle, it just gives you that little crispness, but the burger itself is doing all the work. So Pinnons, just
Great meat.
unbelievable meat, cooked well in that Casey barbecue cooker. Oh my goodness.
Casey pellet cooker.
Yeah, Casey combo. So it's the big guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Pit Boss has a slew of different pellet smokers, different sizes, big, small, medium, left, right. I mean, you name it, and they're all actually reasonable price. You can get one that, you know, is about as big as this table lengthwise.
All right.
About half of it, $300.
Like 4 foot by 2 foot.
Yeah, $300.
So how was your guys last week?
It's been a good week, and I feel bad that summer's coming to an end. I mean,
Right. We got another week.
we've had some bad weather recently come through the state line. You know, it seems like we're getting rain or overcast every weekend, but making the most of it, just enjoying some time. And
I gotta sit back and actually like legit think what I did last weekend. I don't think we did anything.
I worked.
Yeah.
I worked a lot. You know, buyers are out there again. Rates have come down a little bit. George has told us that. The sellers, there's more homes on the inventory. We're still nowhere near where we need to be, but buyers have a shot now. It's not like they go out and look at a house and there's 50 offers on it in one day. Houses are sitting on the market for, you know, 12 to 20 days on average now, and that's helping us.
Isn't that a wild time in our life?
Yeah.
To even think that like you go into a house and before you sometimes even step foot in the house, there was 20 offers. Or it was sold by the time you even walked out of the house.
Mm.
It's crazy to think.
Well, that's been the last 2 years basically.
Yeah.
2020, 2021. But what I'm finding is if we compare our numbers to 2019, which was a true market,
Okay.
it is still a seller's market and we're still in very good shape. The anomaly that happened over the last 2 years is just what makes it, you know, unprecedented. And just like every business and every industry and stocks and bonds, everything ebb and flows. And we're going to have super highs, we're going to have super lows. It's just, I don't see a crash of like the proportion we had back in 08.
No.
08, 9, 10. We had this conversation last night with some colleagues. George made some very good points about the fail safes that were put in place.
I mean, with Dodd-Frank and the laws that they put in place after the crash in 08, I don't see it happening again or coming anywhere close. And in fact, what you're going to see is we're in a unique time. Don't get me wrong. The inflation and the rates spiking. I feel like almost the government or the feds are using housing to keep. They're almost using housing to keep the rest of the economy okay. And so when it's over and things settle down, you're going to see rates drop back in the 4s, in my opinion, and it's going to be a small little refi boom from everybody that's been buying houses in the 5s and 6s. And the good news is, it's like, don't worry about the rate right now,
Right?
because you just refinance.
But do you think the price of housing is going to stay where it's at, or you think it's going to drop back down to
You
where
may
we're
see
at?
a little bit of a regress, but nothing where it's going to be plummet.
I'm seeing houses actually to get there are price reductions, but excuse me.
When I say, when I say that, it in the past, or when I say that, you have to think about people a couple months ago were offering 20-30,000 over ask.
In some areas, in some
So-
markets around the country, almost $100,000 over ask
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and cash.
But when I say regressing, I'm not saying that the values are going to come down. It's you're not going to see that anymore.
I
And
also
that is
think
gonna be
that
what tapers off.
I also think that here in the Rockford area, we have this weird market kind of over here on the west side by Boylan area that $100,000 house is always going to be $100,000 house, right?
Yes and no.
Whether it's you know you bought it for 100 or 120, it's all going to be they're all built in kind of the same of an affordable home.
Right. They're an affordable home, and there will be some increases. It's the $100,000 house that was bought for $100,000 and not renovated, not updated, not kept at the times for the last 10, 15 years. And you walk in there now and it's a 90s kitchen. You know what I mean? That's still gonna be $100,000 house. But I have seen when they take a beautiful house
It's kind of
like
like
this,
the one we have here, right?
right?
I mean, this was $100,000 house, 120, and they've made vast improvements. I mean, they did the basement. Obviously, you went in there and saw the kitchen. The kitchen it's gorgeous now. Light countertops, dark cabinets,
Right.
and hardwoods throughout the whole house. And
Oh, it's definitely items. But when you renovate too, I tell people all the time, don't renovate for return on investment. Renovate for what you want to live in. If you're going to stay there for 5 years or 10 years, because you're doing this beautiful renovation now, enjoy it, and you'll still get better return.
what cracks me up is on HGTV they have the love it or list it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a great show.
It's exactly what you're kind of saying there, right? Is they take houses that they want to move because they don't renovate it, right? How it is, and then they have the two options. They see 3 or 4 houses,
Right.
and they have someone renovate kind of how they want it, and I swear 7 out of 10 times they end up staying in their exact house.
7 out of 10 times nobody moves. Exactly. So there's a lot of things you can do. And like George said, you marry the house, you're only dating that interest rate. So as soon as and every realtor in town is using that same line. It's not something I coined. I'm just copying the trend, and even the loan originators are all using those lines too. But it's not a line. I mean, when I bought my house in Roscoe, I was in like over 8%. That was back in 2015.
Yeah.
And I'm at a 3% mortgage now. I refinanced last year from 4% to 3%, just because it was time to make that change, take advantage.
Perfect timing.
Perfect
I thought
timing.
that was we're kind of at the halfway point of our burger.
And we want to pair the burger with the food at least.
Correct.
So,
But I also think the last pour we have, or can,
The
I
last
would say
can, yeah.
is a good topping to kind of bring it all together.
so as you can see here, we have our More Brewing Company right in front. Our next one is from Rockford's own Prairie Street. You want to switch out? No. Prairie Street Brewing Company. This is their Oktoberfest.
Which is coming up.
Oktoberfest is coming up, and they're
Fun.
saying crisp caramel. I say caramel. Other people say caramel, and then they go Prost. So that's what they got on their label here.
I love me some good old ladle holders. Did you hear though? No. George, I heard this today, and you can probably contest, or you can say it's a cap or a slap, right? For all you young people out there.
Yeah.
So the Raskeller,
Yes.
North Main.
I read
and
it. I
Auburn,
read it in the newspaper, so it has to be true.
It's in the newspaper. Our very own Thaddeus is moving.
Really?
That it is in the newspaper. Thaddeus is bringing Little Nick's Barbecue to the old Ratskeller location.
I did not know this.
That's on the
I-
north end for people that don't know where it is, right at the roundabout at Auburn.
I think that is a solid move on his part.
And that neighborhood, I have a client of mine that bought a house over there on Post,
Yep.
and he's spent the last 2 years renovating it, and he's doing Airbnbs out of there
Hmm.
that he's getting ready to do in that area. And this house should be like downtown Chicago. It should be over on the north side somewhere, you know. And
That's really good.
Yeah, it is.
I have
Sorry.
not tried it yet.
That's
But-
really good.
But that whole neighborhood, when the Norwegian went in, I mean, I remember Saturday morning is
The
the
market.
city market, the
North
North
End
End City
City
Market.
Market.
You add the great barbecue place with that outdoor seating. I mean, yeah, it would be nice to have the traditions of Rockford and have a German restaurant still, but Rathskeller was there for years and years and years.
Yeah,
And the
but-
new Rathskeller was not really that German. It was Detroit pizza. It was other stuff.
But
They gave it a good go, but
right now though, that location needs to have something there. That location is a staple in the Rockford area.
yes,
No matter what goes into it, right? That is a staple on the north side.
yes,
You see it as soon as you go around the roundabout, whichever way you come up. It's a classic spot. Like I feel like he's gonna do a great job there. And then it allows him to have indoor dining.
yes.
Yep.
Indoor dining, outdoor space. And the only hard part over there is the parking. Even when it was Rathskeller, the Rathskeller, parking was always a pain depending on what day of the week it was.
100%.
But you know what? You park within the neighborhood. It's not that bad of a walk. It's a nice night.
No. And I'm curious to see if he's gonna keep his old spot as like a smokehouse.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know.
Yeah. Oh wow. Exactly. You know what I mean? Will he keep that spot as a smokehouse and just smoke his meats over there and then have it transported? Because it's only what, mile and a half?
Yep. It's just down Auburn.
Literally, I think maybe a mile and a half at most down
Right.
Auburn Street.
Yep.
And just have a nice restaurant.
Good
I think it would be key to have something where his original location is. We can still get food at. We can still
Maybe a
take takeaway,
takeout.
do takeout from there, have something because he's a part of the community right there. And I mean, some people walk the neighborhood. They can't drive all the way to the other side of town. They're not going to spend money on a cab just to go sit down in the restaurant. They just want to grab his awesome food and bring it home. So I
And
mean,
I'm a little biased with him because he is my neighbor, but it's best barbecue in town.
My mother-in-law thinks the same. We get the thing about them though is we've noticed they run out because it's so popular.
Yep.
You can call sometimes at 3:00 for dinner time, and they'll say, "Hey, we're out of this, we're out of that." I mean, it's true barbecue. It's first come, first serve. If you don't get it while it's hot, you're out of luck.
Yep.
Just how it is.
well, I see for season 2, maybe the first episode is going to be a ribs episode.
I like that idea. You know how I like my ribs.
I'm gonna have to make you guys ribs on the good old pellet.
See,
So-
I'm a little spoiled because before he opened up his restaurant, he would do all of his recipes for me and a couple of my neighbors. So I got to eat his food for years before he opened
Yes.
up his shop. And his ribs, he has this rub that he makes himself, this special rub. I don't know what he puts in it, but my gosh, that's my favorite barbecue. It's got the perfect kick for somebody that likes spicy food. He does amazing ribs.
But I think he also infuses some of his barbecue now.
Yes, he does.
And I will say,
Delta 8.
it's amazing. I've had his pulled pork. I've had when we've used him for one of our golf outings, his pig roast.
Yep.
I mean,
Well, he won whole hog.
right. And
couple
we've
years ago.
had the whole hog, and it is good. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's good.
and at
And
Flesh
he caters-
Bash.
He caters my Christmas party every year too. So
Another restaurant I want to give a plug to, just because we had a wild time. Okay, and you guys go there every Wednesday. Hope and Anchor.
open
Every other Wednesday.
Every other
yes.
one, okay. So last Friday, I think it was, we were debating on what we are going to eat. And I said, or Saturday, I said, why don't we get Hope and Anchor? It was raining out, shitty. Let's just order something.
Let's go to
get-
England. Yeah.
Well, we just ordered it and brought it back, right? If you guys have never looked up the Hope and Anchor menu and just read it,
Yes.
you are going to lose it.
Right. But those are all true British terms for the food.
Correct. 100%.
And are we going to have like an advisory on this episode?
No, we're
we're
not gonna.
okay.
Say it.
We're not going to say it.
Well,
We're not-
we could say like smothered chicken or rooster.
Yes.
How about that? But they don't use
trust
that word.
Trust me, if you're listening to this right now,
Burnt rooster.
Burnt rooster.
go to Hope and Anchor on Google, look up their menu, just give a read, and you will sit there for a solid 5-10 minutes and laugh. Because we were out here reading it, talking, and my wife is just giggling, and tears are coming out of her eyes. Like
we had that last night. It was a great. I love Hope and Anchor, and I'll take it a step further. What I love about that place is not just the unique food that they bring, traditional British food. It's that it's locally owned, and the owner and the people that work there are there every day.
Yes.
Every time you come there, it's the same people. You get used to them. They get used to you. They know exactly.
Shout out to Marcia, one of the best bartenders in Rockford.
Yep. They know exactly what I eat, drink. It's not even a question anymore.
No.
And it's that to me is.
And they have some local brews on tap.
Amazing service.
They do. And it's one of the few places where I will actually go and drink Guinness on tap.
They pour it right.
Because they pour a pint correctly. Now we have some great. Don't get me wrong. We have some great bars in town that serve Guinness, and one such is just down the road, the Olympic Tavern.
Yeah.
I mean, the Olympic Tavern pours Guinness, but they will pour that glass so it's full and then hand it to you while it's settling. And that is not in the tradition of how Guinness is poured and the rules you're supposed to follow from the Guinness Brewing Company, which I've toured their facility back in '94. It was amazing, and they give you free beer when you're done. But there's a certain way to pour Guinness, and it's a 3/4 pour, and you allow all of that to settle. And then there's a reverse on the tap where you use the spoon and you top it and then allow that to settle. And then you give it to them. Because what you do is if you get a pour at any other place where they just fill it and give it to you, leave it there till it fully settles and it looks like you drank half a beer already. That's why a lot of bars just pour it quick and hand it off. And I'm not saying they do it for money. A lot of times it's because they can't have stacks of Guinness or they're not properly trained.
I do know a lot of the bartenders though at Olympic do pour Guinness the correct way.
A lot do, but I've been there for certain times at lunchtime. You don't get that usually.
Correct. I used to be a regular at Olympic back in my prime years, right?
His prime years are so far behind him.
Where it was cheaper for us to go eat at the Olympic every night than it was to go buy groceries and ruin them. So those bartenders are no longer there. They were awesome people. I don't need to say names. If you guys have been there for the last, 10 years, you know who I'm talking about. Right. And they poured a pint.
So, but I could also get a true half and half.
You could, yeah.
So they have Harp, they have Bass, they have Guinness. You could get the traditional drinks you would get in an English pub, an Irish pub. I could be in London, Brighton, England, in Donegal, Ireland, or Dublin, or Sunnyside, Queens, New York City, where I grew up. And they pour there, and all those places exactly the same way they pour at the Hope and Anchor.
Yep. You know what time for? Our dessert beer.
Dessert beer.
I will. Real quick though. But I just lost my train of thought. I'll go get the beer now.
Well, we're probably talking about Prairie Street because that's what we're drinking here, the Oktoberfest.
It was very good. Go if they have it. I'm intrigued. Let's go and have this on tap because when you have it in a can versus
it is different.
It's different.
But it's a little easy. It's a little easier when we're doing this comparison, 100%. Just to bring in. We're not judging beers today. We're just pairing it with food and having some good time. But we're highlighting some of our local breweries. Now, I will tell you, we didn't go there because it's a bit of a hike. But Lena Brewery, out in Lena, Illinois,
it's awesome.
They have amazing beer. They have a chocolate stout that to die for when they have it. And what I like about that place is my wife will come to that brewery with me because they serve Mossbach wine from the local winery in Elizabeth, Mossbach. They have their wine there as well.
I'm excited. This is my first time ever trying a Pig Minds.
So, and kind of to build off that, there's a brewery. It's a little bit of drive.
This is Pig Minds Vanilla Bitch Slap.
It's in Milwaukee. It's MKE Brewery. And if you have never been, go do a tour. It's $15-20 the tour. And you get all you can drink beer for 2 hours.
Wow.
Hour before, the whole tour, hour after.
Wow.
Cheers, guys.
Oh man,
Now that is dessert.
that is a dessert beer for sure.
All right, so this is their vanilla bitch slap. It's an American red ale with natural vanilla.
You definitely can taste.
And
vanilla.
you taste the vanilla, which I
It
actually
hits
like.
you in the mouth.
Now, the one thing I love about Pig Minds is they are our first, I think our only vegan restaurant in the area.
They were one of the only vegan brewery restaurants when they first opened in the whole United States.
Yeah.
You know
There
what
was
else I
like
love
there
about
was like
Pig Minds?
5 maybe, I think in the whole United States, and they were one of them.
You know what my favorite part of Pig Minds is?
Was that
They have a Tesla supercharger when you park there.
Yeah.
really?
You can park your car, you can park your Tesla and charge your car while you're eating.
Not a supercharger, the one that I have in my garage, that the fast charging.
Yeah, the rapid charge that you would
Yep.
have at home.
Yep.
The hardwired one.
Correct.
But now look, we had burgers today, and I will tell you right now, this vanilla bitch slap pairs very well with a piece of meat. But their brewers and their chefs work very hard to give the experience. So they do an amazing portobello mushroom burger
Yeah.
with all the fixings that
But
would
it's-
rival, and that's like for those of us that grew up Catholic, that's like your Friday at Lent, and you're craving a burger. You go there and have that,
They had
and you're not gonna get in any trouble. There you
their
I'm just
specials
saying.
came out the other day, and I was looking, and I was so tempted to go. They have that portobello mushroom quesadilla.
Ooh.
And I've had their other quesadillas, and it's funny too because it's not made with cheese.
No, I
It-
also had a.
They
a
don't
brown-
use cheese. It's all vegan. It's not vegetarian. It's vegan.
They had a brownie.
Wow.
They had like a brownie sundae or something.
Right.
And you would never think that it was 100% vegan.
Yeah, it's vegan ice cream, and that's what I mean. Like for somebody who loves meat and animal products and all that stuff, and I can live on hamburgers and eggs and bacon. Like if that's the only 3 things I ate for the rest of my life, I'd be fine. But their food, I go there for some networking events with Winnebago Buy Local. Let's give them a shout because they were one of the people that helped put them on the map.
Yep.
You know, supporting local grassroots businesses. Winnebago Buy Local is an amazing organization here in town as well. And August is Buy Local month. So
Yep.
support local businesses. That's another reason why we are drinking from local breweries today, getting our meat from a local butcher. And just
Local breweries, local
And I just saw
local tomatoes.
local tomatoes growing right here in Josh's yard.
we when I was at Pinnons though, and I haven't seen this in a while. They had Pinnons ribs. So when they butchered it, they butchered their baby back ribs how they like to butcher their baby back ribs, and they had them in the case.
Wow.
And you don't see that often there.
No, but I told you when you first mentioned it, I remodeled the house back when I had my remodeling company down the street, and we ate lunch there 3 days a week.
So good.
Because for I think it was like $5.50, we got fed.
Yep.
It was crazy at the time. That's a few years back. Prices may vary now, but yeah, it's been
But even Meads does that
Mhm.
Every day.
all right, so out of these 3 guys, what's your favorite?
I like the vanilla. I don't know why. It's just so different. To me, the first beer was a little too IPA for me.
Right.
I'm
Well,
not a. It was very light, so that I was able to tolerate it. I'm not a big IPA.
IPA is a very distinct flavor.
Right.
Correct.
You have to actually love like
That
the
flavor.
process of how it's made and that flavor of the hops.
So
But
for
I'm
me-
enjoying the citrus notes that are in here,
Correct.
which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
which is
yeah.
offsetting that.
Which
When I
was
say-
wild for a double IPA.
Yes.
When I say this, I'm not talking down on.
And
any
this
of
is
them.
just
They're
the
all
samples
good.
that were available to bring today. They
I
don't
think-
put everything they make in a can.
Oh, and
So-
John got these beers for us, and I think you might have picked, without knowing it, the best 3 beers to pair with a burger.
Well, I was just guessing. So, because I am not a craft beer guy by any means. I was joking with George yesterday, texting. I was like, I don't know how you guys do this stuff. I picked up 4 6-packs, 4 packs of the beer, and it cost as much as the big bottle of Grey Goose I got.
Yep.
So I mean, if that tells you anything, I'm more of a winery guy or a small batch bourbon guy. But I mean,
Yeah,
this
but
is very enjoyable.
They don't when I say mass produce, I'm talking like nationwide mass produce, right?
Right. Like I
They're
wouldn't
not-
bring you New Glarus beer, which is all over the state of Wisconsin, even though they have some amazing beers.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite there is their
Spotted Cow.
which everybody loves. But if you've ever had their other one, which was the two ladies, they have a two ladies one.
See my
Oh, fat squirrel. That's it.
See
Fat
my
squirrel.
favorite one, and I drink it a lot in the wintertime, is Moon Man.
Moon Man, yes.
I love Moon Man. We go skiing and snowboarding up at Alpine Valley, and we'll line our coats and our pants with Moon Man, and we'll just crack it when we get on the lift, drink it until we get off the lift, ride down, and that's our beer of choice during snowboard season. So,
But we do have some amazing breweries all within driving range. We have
oh yeah,
well, you have Lean I said. There's the one out in Freeport. I don't remember the name. My sister-in-law, she's like into everyone. She's been
I'm
to
not sure.
everyone.
I really like the Hairy Cow down
Harry
in
Cow,
Byron. They have that wood fire pizza thing inside.
Okay.
It's right there on the river. It's a nice little drive if you want. They have a great patio to sit out by the river. They'll fire you up some pizzas, and they have some really solid beer.
Very good. Very good. This is, man, that burger though.
The burger was phenomenal.
I'm ready for another burger.
Yeah, we got. Wait, what is this? We got 3 beers and only 1 burger. What's going on?
Yeah, come on, man.
It's funny though, because I actually you guys ate yours really quick. I kind of saved mine.
I saved mine
till like the last beer, and that bite was still as juicy as the very first one.
It was.
But you guys, I have some salsa here on the table. My buddy Chris has a garden, and he makes his own salsa.
All right.
And everyone just.
I noticed the salsa, but I didn't want to I didn't want to say, hey, is that for everybody or just you?
They rave about it, and so he mason jarred them this year, sold them. 1 for 10, 2 for 16. Okay. I want you guys to give it a whirl and tell me what you think.
All right. I'm not afraid.
I've been eating some the whole time.
I can see that.
Well, I'm going to grab a couple of chips here.
Okay.
Let you get no double dipping, George.
Oh, come on. It's just me, JB.
The real JB.
Please stand up. All right, so I got the perfect scooping chip right here. Because I'm one of those guys, like I know people that just dip and get a little flavor. I like actually want to scoop the chunks so I'm trying a salsa.
Oh, me too.
Because I want to know what's going on with it.
That's really good. I can say that I've never had one that tasted like this before.
You get a little bit of heat at the end,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not overpowering. You know how like some salsas are like, you take that bite and it's either super hot or just bland and not good at all. But for a homemade salsa,
That's
I'd buy this.
Yeah, it was 1 jar for 10, 2 for 16. And their Facebook post was, it's the most wonderful time of the year, tomato season. Mine and Christopher's famous smoked salsa is back. And he said a few people have been asking for it, so we decided to make it. It's a smoked spicy salsa. So they smoke all the ingredients.
I was gonna say
And then
I can
turn it
taste
into
a little bit
salsa.
of smoke in there. That's what's unique about it. I've never had.
They smoke all the
Wow.
ingredients and then put it together.
You know what it reminds me of? My neighbor smokes pizza.
Yeah.
You ever had smoked pizza?
So I throw this event in the wintertime called the Carhartt Open,
Mm-hmm.
and we jankinly smoke pizzas. I have also a gas smoker that we would put Jack's pizzas in, and we would crank it up with some wood chips, and we would smoke like 10 to 15 Jack's pizzas because you would circulate them. So like the bottom one would get done, and the middle would go to the bottom, top would go, and you just kept
And you put a new one in as you
Yep,
keep going.
and you just kept going, and everyone's just eating pizza, and obviously those are just Jack's pizzas. But
Hey, I don't complain. A Jack's pizza is like in a pinch. A Jack's pizza is a great pizza, especially when you drink it.
remember when it was? So now it's 3 for 10.
Right.
Right.
Remember when it's 5 for 10?
No, for a while there, like 5 years ago, it was 10 for 10.
Yeah.
when it first came out. Yeah,
Dude, 10 for
They
10.
were good.
Solid cardboard pizza.
But that's
solid card.
well, you know what though? The Jack's Pizza is the pizza to go for when you've been drinking all day, and it's like 10 o'clock, and you're like, I want some food. Throw a Jack's Pizza in, 13 minutes,
Tombstone also.
you're ready to go.
Oh yeah. Oh,
This sauce is amazing. I'm sure you got a couple of jars for us here, right?
Oh no, Red Baron.
I can actually
like
get
Red
you guys
Baron.
some if you want some. I can snag you guys some.
Some salsa.
Some
That's
salsa.
really good.
I'll take a jar of that.
Yeah, 2 for 16. Split it, $8 a piece.
There you go.
Sold.
And she actually works at First National Bank and Trust off of Bridge Street.
Oh, nice. Right by my house.
Yep.
You can just go pick it up.
FNB.
So, is there anything going on this weekend that our
This
listeners?
this weekend is pretty much the last weekend before.
It's the last week before the greatest part of the season ever, right?
Yep.
Football season.
Can't wait.
Well, actually,
College
though,
football
but
kicks
the
off.
things going on right now, college football does kick off this week. Football season's starting up, but locally, the Friday Night Lights are starting, boys.
Yep.
Dude,
And there are
high
some
school football.
there are
man.
some
Friday.
amazing high school teams this year. I mean, like everybody loves their school. Everybody has like
That's what's cool about this area, though, is they stick to their area and they cheer on their boys.
yep.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what sport it is. Girls, guys, baseball, volleyball, golf. I mean, whatever area you are in, you support them, and it's
And,
really cool to watch.
You know, being that I'm from New York City and I didn't go to school here, but I live in Roscoe, where the Hononegah School District. My two out of three of my kids have graduated from there so far. I got one more; she's a senior this year, and it's just like go Indians. That's how it is. So Hononegah girls swimming last year were dominated. My daughter was the Nick 10 champion in diving last year, so we just love everything that has to go with that sports program for Hononegah, but that's what we know. My wife grew up in Downers Grove, so
Yeah.
we're not gonna go back to Downers Grove South and watch football games, even though her sister was on the field with the flags as a Mustang. I mean,
But we do have some really close friends that their kids are in high school football right now. So
Oh.
it is cool. You can probably you can really catch any game, and we could probably know someone there that has a kid on a team.
one of the agents that works with me, Coach Clyde, he's the
He's the-
offensive coordinator at
for Rockford Christian.
for Rockford Christian.
Really?
They have a
Good
game
shit.
tomorrow.
And
Wow.
their first game is tomorrow, so let's go Rockford Christian. I mean,
Let's go Royal
They're-
Lions.
they're playing
That's where both
against
of my kids
Rock
go.
Falls
Ooh,
because they're in that conference.
that's a tough.
And last year they had to drive down to Rock Falls. This year Rock Falls comes to them. So that's a tough conference.
And
they're in.
I'm a bit of a biased dad because both my kids go to Rockford Christian. So yes, let's go Royal Lions.
Royal Lions.
Yep.
And I could cheer the Royal Lions because it's a different conference than Hononegah. So
Oh yeah.
There you go. I like that excuse.
there we go. So anyway, though, that's what we got going on with that. We got our Friday Night Lights going on. Football season's coming. Did you know though, if your kids kind of like golf, but they don't want to play golf, that at Ingersoll Memorial Park on the 27th at 9 a.m. Saturday at 9 a.m. they could go do disc golf kids clinic and learn how to play frisbee golf. The Rockford Park District has some amazing stuff. I also found, which I thought this was the craziest thing. You guys all know Calvin Park Boulevard, right?
Yeah.
That street. Well, the 500 block has an event going on Sunday from 1 in the afternoon to 4:30 in the afternoon. It is the Calvin Park Boulevard Blitz Chess Tournament. They've got chess tables set up on the street, and people are going to be speed playing chess. So, like,
Dude,
like,
let's go.
like I
Awesome.
have not seen people do blitz chess since I left New York, City. Where they do that
was
like
huge
all
in
the
New York
parks,
City.
all the parks. That's going on all the time. They got the timer out, and people just like boom, bump, boom, bump, boom, done. And it's like,
But
what
New York-
happened?
in New York City though? They'll have like 20, 30, 40 people.
Right. I don't know what's going on with this, but I found it online. I thought this was something interesting because
Yeah.
you can find all of the awesome things going on within the Rockford state line area by going to gorockford.com. I go there every week before our show. It helps me get a little show prep, but I found a couple of these things. I was just like, wow, like I didn't know if you go on Eventbrite and
They have a lot.
you search on Eventbrite for It's a Scavenger Hunt Rockford for $24 plus Eventbrite fees. You can do a team as big as you want because it's only per team. But you use your mobile phone and you do a scavenger hunt around Rockford. You can pick what day you want to do it, and it goes from 10 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night, 7 days a week. So you can do scavenger hunts in different neighborhoods around Rockford and compete against other people in your town, or go to other cities
And do it.
and do that. It's
That's
called
pretty
It's a
dope.
Scavenger Hunt.
That's pretty dope because that's something that's also kid friendly.
It's kid friendly. I mean, it's kind of like when our kids, my boys were like junior and senior in high school. They were doing with the Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
They were running all over the place. They're like, we're going out, and they're like running through parks because they're looking to catch them all. You know what I mean? But it's the same kind of way to do it. It's a scavenger hunt for adults, kids. Have fun, take the family out and walk around your city and get to know the area better. You know,
super cool.
and then of course it is the 10-year anniversary this weekend of the Chicago Tough Mudder. They call it the Chicago Tough Mudder, but it's held at the Rockford International Airport.
Yep.
So I call it the Rockford Tough Mudder. I'm not going to call it, or we'll call it the State Line Tough Mudder, because Chicago is still 90 miles east of here. So,
Yep, it is.
but the Tough Mudder is going on all weekend. They got 2 events they got going on Saturday and Sunday. So that's what I've got. It is National Burger Day, like we said. It's also National Whiskey Sour Day.
I love a good whiskey sour.
And a whiskey sour is awesome, but we figured what paired better with burgers than beer. That's why we're highlighting some local businesses for that. And we don't really have whiskey sours that readily available. We'd be sitting here shaking them up. And,
Shake
you know,
and not stir.
shaking, not
So,
stir.
yeah.
For whiskey sour, always shaking. So that's all I've got. Any big plans this weekend for you guys, Jen?
No.
I'm heading to your favorite city on Friday, the day this show airs. We're heading to Dubuque.
Oh, I love me a good Dubuque, Iowa.
I'm
So-
going Friday, the day the show airs, to Milwaukee for the Brewers game.
Oh.
They just so happen to be playing the Cubs, but it's okay.
Oh, go to Wrigley
Well,
North.
Well,
Wrigley
you
North.
you are a Sox fan, and you have 2 favorite teams: the Sox and anybody playing against the Cubs.
Yep,
So
I'm a Brewer fan tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. And other than that, we're gonna be focusing on cleaning out the garage.
Ooh,
I have to do that
That
on
is-
Sunday.
question
Yeah,
for you.
it's
Have
time.
you used all that wood that I got you that long time ago?
Nope, not yet.
That's
But-
gonna be some good wood.
For burning?
Yeah. So we put this. You guys can't see, or maybe you can. You can, kind of,
Kind of. The sun is like hitting right on us
right
now,
behind
so-
my head. We put in this massive playground for the kids.
I do see the playground behind your head. Yes.
Yep. We put in this massive playground, but we had
And that looks way better than those rainbow playgrounds you would buy from the factory for like
Dude.
10 grand.
No, that thing was in pieces. Me, my father-in-law Ken, my mom built that thing in like a weekend. 12,000 pieces. But we had a tree right there on the left side. And we cut it down, and I gave George like these stumps. No joke, we're probably like this, and one was gotta be what, 4 feet? 4 feet by this. So I know
chopped it all up, and I have wood for days. Yep,
Well-
yep. I haven't burned through it all, but we have. I mean, it's every time we have a fire outside.
it's good wood.
I mean, we don't do fires in Rockford. It's not allowed. We cook hot dogs.
We cook hot dogs.
Right, because
Yep.
you are not allowed to have that. Like you have a gas fire pit because that's like having an appliance.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah.
But to do an actual outdoor burn within Rockford limits,
We
it's
just cook
not-
hot dogs and s'mores on there.
and
for
you're
food.
allowed to do
Yep.
that. You're
We'll
allowed
do
to
it
have
for
a
food.
fire for food.
Yep.
Now up where I am in Roscoe,
They don't care.
I've seen at some friends' houses bonfires in their backyard, and the house is like right next to them. That was like 30 foot tall. So I mean,
Teach their own.
to each their own. Exactly. When it's the middle of the winter and you're at a bonfire and you're wearing a t-shirt and shorts, you know something's up. When we had 3 feet of snow and there's no snow in their backyard, you know something's up. But
But there are people. My father-in-law likes to have a good fire, but his buddy Pete has a fire. I think every single night. Lives for him.
well, I live for a good campfire. I miss camping. That's one of the things too. If you're looking for things to do with the kids, you don't need to have a fancy camper. We have some of the best campsites at the local Winnebago County Forest Reserves, the rival state parks and campgrounds all over the country, right here in our backyard. Seward Bluff down in Pecatonica is one of my all-time favorites. You go hiking through there and there's waterfalls
Really?
There's rivers running through it, and they have bathroom houses, so like actual pit toilets. So they don't have showers there. But then you go to Sugar River, which I would never do the Sugar River Forest Preserve in the height of summer with the mosquitoes because they're right on the river. But they have shower houses.
Have you
So-
ever been tubing down the Sugar River?
I have not. Would love to do that, but I hear it's an all day, and it
lot
can.
of fun.
I have
And
gone,
a lot of these go down during the course of that day, and
I have gone numerous times, and I can tell you this: there are numerous times that I do not remember coming home.
well, and with that note,
And that note, let's
So-
touch on the usual
All the things.
Oh,
disclaimers.
the usual disclaimers. So if you are watching us on YouTube, please do the YouTubey things and like our show, subscribe to whatever channel you're watching this on. We have multiple channels, and also share this with a friend. And if you're listening to us wherever you listen to podcasts, please like, share, comment, give us a review. We would love to hear from you. But I also want to know one thing. I love when the three of us are sitting around the table together doing this kind of live. It's not live, but we're all in the same space. So you've been following us. You, our fans, have been following us. We've had great outpouring of people following us. I want to hear from you guys at the Rep in the State Line on Facebook. There's a page on Facebook. Tell us, do you prefer the format when you see us as the Brady Bunch? When you see us sitting around the table in person? Because season 2 will be coming up.
We
And
have 3 more episodes.
we have
after
3
this.
more episodes of season 1, correct? And then we're going to be taking a short break. We plan for season 2, and we would like to know your feedback on the format that you prefer the most. Now, if you're listening on a podcast, it really doesn't matter, except maybe the audio quality is a little better when we're reaching the home offices with our microphones and headphones and no background noise. That's the only thing I can see different. But if you're watching the video, I would think this would be the preferred method. So you tell us, what do you prefer? And with that, you got anything less to say, Josh?
I don't. I just want to say thank you guys. We have had an exuberant amount of support that we have noticed in the last 3-4 weeks that is amazing.
People going back and downloading episodes from weeks ago.
Correct. We really appreciate it. We work hard at coming up with content for you guys. We work hard at repping the state line, honestly.
And entertaining.
Yeah, we live here. We love it here. We represent here. There's nowhere else that we 3 would want to be other than here in the state line area with you guys. So just thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, the only thing we're missing is somebody south, because we got the east side, the west side, we got north. We just need to our south now, and we can have actually a coven then.
That's true.
If you think about it, though, we're kind of in a triangle.
Yeah.
You're in the. All right, I'm gonna draw this out. So John's in the north here in Roscoe.
Right. I got Beloit, Rockton,
Josh
South
is over
Beloit,
here on the
Rockton.
west side, and then I'm on the southeast.
Yeah.
Because I'm close to. I mean, I'm really close to State Street, so I would say I'm further south than both of you. So
Yeah.
technically, we have the whole area kind of covered.
Is that an acute triangle?
It is a cute triangle.
It's hard to do it when you're backwards on screen, but yeah.
It is a cute triangle, yes, George. All right. Well, with that, thank you very much, everybody, and tune in next week for episode 18 of Repping the State Line. Until then, have a great week.